Hello, and welcome to our YPO Impact in Action podcast, the podcast of the Social Impact Network. We'll use this podcast for YPO social impact leaders to introduce their social impact projects, their lessons learned along the way, and ways that other YPOers can get involved.
Today, our guest is Lara Bezerra. She's been a leader of multinational companies for over 30 years, and there have been several case studies and books written about the social impact of the work she did as a global leader in multinationals. In addition to this, she's now authoring her own book, and since 2020, she's been founder of the company WorkCoherence. I'll turn over to Lara now to explain more about that work.
Thank you, Peter. Super thank you.
My pleasure.
So the WorkCoherence, the company that I founded 2020, it has to do a lot with the SDG 4.7. So what we aim to do is to bring to the business what they aim into the education also, that is to ensure that all learners acquire knowledge and skills needed to promote sustainable development, including, among others, education for sustainable development and sustainable lifestyles, human rights, gender equity, promotion of a culture of peace and nonviolence, global citizenship and appreciation of cultural diversity, and culture's contribution to sustainable development. I really believe that the business can do this and bring this global citizenship and this awareness to the business. But then we have to, instead of doing philanthropy and CSR, we have to bring this into the business, to the core of the business. And I think that this is a moment that we can do this. And what WorkCoherence aims to do is to bring awareness of how to do it through bringing coherence to the workforce, through the leaders and the organization. So we aim to work with leaders and to transform organizational culture to bring this kind of thought into the organization, meaning that people, while developing their strategy or building their operating model, they can intrinsically think on how they can bring impact to the society, not only looking to the numbers, but looking exactly what is needed to bring this stakeholder economy to the grain, to the core of their businesses.
Fantastic. And how you came to be in this space, it sounds like a pretty natural transition that you were leading multinational companies for over 30 years, making this kind of impact, and now you've transitioned to sharing this knowledge and helping spread that impact to other companies?
Well, Peter, the last 20 years, I was working a lot, bringing spirituality to the company. So this was one of my objectives. And my purpose at that time working, it was evolving like, I want my team to be happy because I noticed that my team, the culture of the organization being better, a safe space for people to be themselves and do their best, live their purpose in the organizations, the productivity increased, the results increased, and also the financial sustainability of the company was much more stable. And in doing this, I had many methods that I was using when I was, for example, in Roche, Venezuela, Roche, India. And from this, I was asked to mentor people, to give some speeches, to teach how I was changing completely the organization. So, for example, we were not paying bonus anymore for number of medicines that we were selling, but lives that we were saving. So the commercial team it was not called commercial team anymore, it was value team. So we changed intrinsically everything in order to feel and to live a different way. So our language and behavior would really represent what we were doing. So in doing this, when I left the corporation, it was clear for me that I had to share this and make in a way that it would be simple for people to implement it and to have this courage to have this transition from a very hard number focus, profit focus, on a company that would focus on profit, but with an objective of really benefiting society. So this was the transition that I did, and this is how I wanted to spread the way that we worked.
This last part you've described sounds like the hardest part, and maybe the part where there's the most lessons learned. I try to teach companies about future thinking and strategic foresight. And I find as well that they're focused on the numbers and the long term, thinking 10, 20 years, it's hard for them to make that transition. When you're trying to change the mindset of companies to get them away from the traditional only numbers focused way of looking at things, or to show them that indeed their numbers can become better with what you're doing, I imagine there's a lot of resistance. How do you do it? What are the lessons learned in helping companies transition or change their way of thinking?
Peter, I think that the biggest lesson learned for me was the result that I saw in 3 different countries doing this kind of work. As I was arriving to the countries, I was not a person from the country. I was not Hungarian, I was not Mexican, I was not Venezuelan, I was not Indian. And when you think that you arrive to a place and then you have to make something work, what I learned is that having people working for something that is benefiting the society, and our products or services are the means that we have to make this work. So how can we make that our products and service will make the best for the citizen of this country and for this country? When we transform the objective of the teams, instead of looking for result that they are going to do whatever they need to achieve the result, they will have to do whatever they need because it's a responsibility, because they see the importance that this product and service has for the country. So the biggest lesson learned for me is that the higher the conscious level of the organization, higher the cognitive maturity of the organization. So the more that they were focused on helping the society, help their countries, and then they were talking about this with their friends, their communities, their children, they felt so proud that the financial sustainability is much more stable. Why? Because the decisions that they were making are more ethical, are more compliant, because they have this responsibility for the company to be very strong and have good results in order to be there to serve the community. So the biggest lesson learned is that, by bringing this consciousness to the organization, to the teams, and also the stakeholders around, there is a commitment to do something that is good for the society that makes it completely different from focusing on results. So the higher the conscious level of the team, the higher the cognitive maturity. So results are much more sustainable and much higher. So this was my experience all of the years that I worked like this. So this is the biggest lesson that I would like all the YPOers to learn, because if they can do this in their companies, they have a much better result, and innovation comes also. Because with the dynamics of the market, all of the employees, all of the co-workers want the company to be there to serve, and they will find what is the need, and the innovation comes together. So this is the lesson learned that I think that we can really do together.
Fantastic. That's really inspiring. And for those who want to learn more about this, want to get involved with this, who want to maybe engage in this methodology with their teams, what can other YPOers do? How can they reach you? What can they do if they want to get involved with this?
Well, they can go to my website, that is www.larabezerra.com or workcoherence.com, or they can contact me through Connect in YPO also.
Fantastic. And we'll put those links in the show notes as well, so everyone can see that in the notes will be under. Thank you so very much, Lara, for being with us today.
Thank you for doing this, Peter.
Pleasure.